Hey guys, welcome to this new edition of the LA Sports Hub podcast. We have an out of California guest joining the show this morning. Please introduce yourself to the Sports Hub audience.
Hello, Brad here from Manti, Utah, working at Mid-Utah Radio, and glad to be on your show today.
Thanks, Brad. And the focus of the podcast today is just to talk about recently drafted rookie Kyle Kuzma, who spent his college time in Utah and is now with the Los Angeles Lakers. And he made a big splash in Summer League. He won the championship game MVP and helped them when Lonzo Ball couldn't play due to issues that kept him off the floor. What did you see from Kyle Kuzma that impressed you the most when he played in Utah?
I like the fact that he had a lot of athletic ability. He's one of those stretch forwards. He's 6'9", 190. He's probably a little more than 190 pounds now, but when he was at Utah, he was an excellent stretch forward, and he improved in Las Vegas, it seems, behind the three-point line. He was only in the 35% at Utah, but in Las Vegas he's shooting like 45% from range, and the NBA a more free-flowing game, and Larry Kristojak's methodology was always so pedantic. He was always about limiting possessions. It's Utah always seemed to play lots of 68, 65 type games, so that explains how Kuzma is. He's like with the Broncos, Demaryius Thomas. He's that type, or Donovan Mitchell with the Jazz, even. That at Louisville, Donovan Mitchell played a really slow-paced offense. Louisville seemed to only score about 70 points a game, but now at Las Vegas, you also saw Donovan Mitchell's athleticism. So Kuzma seems to be in that vein of thought that the NBA is better than these pedantic college basketball programs that like to slow the pace down. And it might be like Demaryius Thomas of the Broncos. He was at Georgia Tech and had like 40 catches at Georgia Tech, and then he busts on the scene, 86 catches, about 1,560 yards or so, and 12 touchdowns. So when you are a great athlete and you leave these slow-paced collegiate systems behind, then you can really show your athleticism and skills.
And part of that pace at the next level for Kuzma is going to be directed under Lonzo Ball, who the Lakers took second, and Kuzma they took 27th. Is the chemistry going to be good for those two rookies, and are they going to help each other the most out of anybody on the Lakers roster?
I'd imagine they would. I mean, it has to be exciting for Lakers fans to see that the team has potential,
right? And
it has some young guns to showcase. Usually, the Lakers have always been about, we've got to get these established stars, such as when Shaq and Powell came in, and they really, I can't recall a time in my life that I've watched the NBA where they've really been a team to develop young talent. It's always been the James Worthys, the Byron Scotts, Kurt Rambuses. It's always been established veterans. It seems the Lakers are always an established veteran team, but now they're kind of a young team, and you would bring Paul George in potentially a year from now, but they have a bright future. I think that Jack and everybody on the front row will enjoy watching the young talent.
And what do you think would be some things that Kuzma would need to work on to reach his ultimate potential in LA and in the NBA in general?
I think that, like I suggested, I have his collegiate stats here, 6'9", 190 pounds. I would believe that he's increased in his weight a little bit, that he's got at least 200 on the frame, but I'd suggest that Kuzma really hit the weights because he's so wiry. and he has to bash with some pretty big guys. I mean, he can get separation on the perimeter. If he continues to excel behind the three-point line, then that will give him an advantage over many opponents he faces. I would just realize that he has to go in and pound the glass sometimes and get rebounds. So if he could increase his weight to 235 pounds, perhaps 240 pounds, he will be that much more effective. And he possesses all the skills, so just technically work on the game, be a Peyton Manning type, grow to love the game, watch your film, and do what he can to be crafty. He could have a Robert Horry type career potentially.
And him going to the Lakers was only possible when the team traded D'Angelo Russell and Mozgov for Brook Lopez and a couple of draft picks with the Brooklyn Nets. Do you think that just based off of Summer League alone, I mean, it is just Summer League. It's not the official regular season or anything just yet. But like you said, there's a lot of promise in LA. Do you think that the Lakers are already seeing that Kuzma could be a long-term guy instead of just another rookie?
I think that he can fit into the Los Angeles lexicon of legends. I think he has that potential. That he can be like a James Worthy type. Mm-hmm. My coworker who has an astute NBA mind, he compares Kuzma to a Thaddeus Young type with the Pacers. Mm-hmm. And Thaddeus' skill set is a pretty good one. I think Kuzma, if he can find a niche, if he becomes consistent on the three-point shot, mm-hmm. and again, I think in Salt Lake City he was held back by Larry Kristokowiak's slow-paced methodology. At least it made Bo Ryan look playable, and Greg Gard's after that in Madison, Wisconsin. But I'm glad that Kuzma has a chance to show the Los Angeles brass and front office what he can do. And if Jeannie is wise, if she's smarter than, I forget what Jerry Buss's son's name is, but if Jeannie's smarter than her brother, then you would keep Kuzma long term. I see he has a James Worthy-esque potential. He would have to bulk up a lot to get to that point, but mm-hmm. I believe he is someone that the Lakers can have for a year, and they excel for a year.
And what is Kuzma's success in the NBA? Does that do anything for Utah basketball across the whole state and even just at the university he attended?
Well, Utah basketball is one of the great brands in college basketball. Mm-hmm. Rick Majerus is a great legend. The late Rick Majerus, of course. Millions in Salt Lake City were angry because he went to Los Angeles to take the USC job. Mm-hmm. So Majerus became kind of a pariah as soon as he left for Los Angeles, and then he bolted to go to St. Louis to coach the Billikens. But Majerus had the program going well. Keith Van Horn didn't pan out in the NBA. He was on the Mavericks Summer League team in Las Vegas a couple of years, and Andre Miller, who was recently with the Timberwolves, he's a stalwart. Hano Metala and Michael Doliak both did fairly well in the NBA. Mm-hmm. But the program, after Ray Giacoletti came in, he was Majerus' replacement when Majerus went to Los Angeles to coach the Trojans. But Giacoletti didn't do much for the program, Brett Boylan. And as much as I bashed on Larry Kristokowiak, at least Kristokowiak has brought Utah back to the NCAA tournament a couple of times. Mm-hmm. They beat Georgetown and they got to the Sweet 16, mm-hmm. and Duke beat them. And as bland and blasé as basketball is, he is a winning coach. But if Kuzma is successful with the Lakers, it definitely enhances the brand of Utah basketball. The run and youth, they're excelling again. And Kuzma is one of the impetuses behind the resurgence in Salt Lake City, no question.
And also, I wanted to ask you, do you feel that you obviously feel strong about Kuzma's potential, but in just his rookie season, would you consider him to be one of the dark horse candidates outside of all the top lottery picks like Lonzo, Dennis Smith, Jason Tatum, Markelle Fultz? Do you see him being that kind of player that could actually sneak into that conversation of Rookie of the Year?
I believe that when you mention those names, Markel Fultz and Dennis Smith and the like, and how they shone in Las Vegas even brighter than Kuzma did, and Lonzo Ball in his right, I think that while Kuzma has James Worthy-esque potential, I still see him as the third option at best on the Los Angeles offense. So if he can, while in Salt Lake City in 3 seasons, he averaged 10.1 points and 5.5 rebounds, I'd say if Kuzma at least can equal that, Lakers fans should be elated that he's doing that at an NBA level. But I think by his third season, he'll prove to be the guy. Colin Cowherd will mention it all the time on his broadcast, this podcast. He always seems to say that you need big men to excel in the NBA. Lonzo's great for what Los Angeles is desirous to have in terms of star power, but Kuzma seems to be more substantial, but it will take him time to grow into the role. But I'd say by his third season that he's somebody that Lakers fans will be, we've got to have him, we've got to keep him around. And if Jeannie Buss has Jerry Buss's acumen, then she'll realize the significance of having him too. And the Lakers will be Showtime again, like in the past, in the Pat Riley Magic era.
And how excited would you say fans should be about Summer League in general? Should they be more cautious than anything?
Well, while I am one of those journalists who is not necessarily pessimistic, I will say that it's better to excel in Las Vegas than it is to fail. So, in other words, if you are on the Las Vegas Summer League team and you perform well below expectations, it suggests that you are not that good. Now, again, we need to not be presumptuous, and I'm not pessimistic here, but the fact that Kuzma excelled at Las Vegas, so let's see, if he, in October, several hours down to 15, when he's at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, and then he excels, then you'll say, oh, we've got a good kid here. But it's no danger in rejoicing in his successes in Las Vegas. Just know that he has to build upon that. And the fact that he excelled in Las Vegas is a better case than if he failed. So, to quote every athlete who ever lived, I despise cliches, but Las Vegas Summer League is what it is, man. It is what it is, Doug.
And then my last question would be about any hindrances off of the court. Obviously, the weight room is something that factors into Kuzma's situation. But I wanted to ask you specifically, do you think that Lonzo Ball's dad, who is thought to be a possible distraction for Lonzo, could affect Kuzma and the rest of the team at some point?
I believe, again, I always try to be one of those journalists who excels in finding the silver lining.
Right.
But LaVar Ball, I have to make sure I get my balls straight. LaVar Ball is, oh, sorry, that came out. As in the family line. Well, I'm glad I could give you impromptu laughter anyway. But, you know what I meant.
Yes, sir.
As in LaVar's case, I think that he is a disaster. He is a cancerous image on the Lakers franchise, and I think that Magic Johnson, with his years of experience, he realizes the danger of it, and it can affect, because the Lakers are such a young and impressionable team, any outside influences, it's not in their best interest to keep LaVar around. I think that Magic Johnson and Jeannie Buss, if need be, Jeannie Buss will have that come to Jesus moment with LaVar Ball and tell him that it's not in our best interest that you're so close to Lonzo, so we'll ask you to leave. I can see that coming in the next few months, perhaps August, September. But yeah, anything like that can squelch and stymie a team's progress. So I believe that it is in the Lakers franchise's best interest to disband LaVar and tell him that you're not needed anymore. But he'll find a way to keep in the public image one way or another.
Right.
If I do any media, I sure won't be interviewing him.
And then one more question came to mind. Just real quick, do you think that the Lakers are a playoff team this year or not?
I think they're not. I think that there's too many unknowns. It's a nebulous process. If Paul George had made it to Los Angeles this season instead of going to the Thunder, I would think they are. But for all intents and purposes, it seems that Robin Lopez, it is a Robin, not Brooke, right?
That's Brooke.
Brooke Lopez, excuse me. Yes, Brooke Lopez and Luol Deng are the only established veterans I can think of off the top of my head on this Lakers squad. So it's going to be an exciting year for Lakers fans. I think that the team will average about 110 points a game, perhaps give up 106, 107, but the West is so loaded. I mean, you have the Jazz and the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. You would expect to see the Timberwolves take the highest quantum leap, even be a top 4 playoff team, but the Lakers will give teams fits. I see their potential perhaps winning 36, 37 games, but next season you'll see the Lakers make some progress, provided that LaVar Ball stays his distance away from the team. That's tantamount to destruction as I see it. So if LaVar Ball stays away, the Lakers' future is bright. If he sticks around, then the Lakers will just be what they've been the past few years.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to join us this morning. We'd love to have you back sometime.
Oh, that'll be great.